Hi everyone, it's Lauren. Today I'm going to be talking about Kitsune. Kitsune in Japanese means red fox. It literally translates into red fox. Red foxes were very prevalent in Japan, and they still are today. In fact, I think there's a village somewhere in Japan that's overrun with red foxes, and they're very friendly, and you can go and feed them and pet them. But a kitsune is a fox that has become a yokai, a being with mystical, supernatural powers. It was believed that foxes lived extremely long lifespans and were as intelligent as human beings. So, Japanese culture kind of has this trend where anything that becomes really, really old will eventually gain magical powers and become a yokai. So, this is definitely. The kitsune definitely follows that trend. If they become very old, the older they get, the more tails they acquire. Each tail the kitsune acquires relates to how much power they have. So, the greatest amount of tails a kitsune can get is 9. If you ever run into a 9-tailed kitsune, that is the most powerful kitsune you could possibly run into. I've never seen a kitsune who has an even number of tails. I've only seen odd number of tails depicted. I'm not sure why that is. The other day I did learn that the number 4 is a hominin for death or to die, so it could be that even numbers are considered unlucky in Japanese culture. A little bit different how we consider odd numbers more unlucky. But anyway, kitsune are really prevalent in Japanese folk tales, fairy tales. They're very prevalent in popular culture and anime. They are depicted as helpful messengers, evil tricksters, seductresses, almost everything in between. They're good, they're evil, they're silly. Foxes were believed to be the servants of the god Inari, or the goddess Inari. They're depicted sometimes as a god and sometimes as a goddess, so I'm not really sure. But Inari was the god of fertility and agriculture. So I'm thinking perhaps due to their association to fertility, kitsune are often depicted as a fox who turns into a woman and then seduces a man and steals his life force. People believed a fox could enter a woman's body through her breasts or her fingernails. I'm going to be drawing this woman. The fox, the kitsune, is coming out of her fingernails to follow that tradition. However, kitsune were not always menacing, and they might just pull a prank on you. Instead of seducing you, they might just offer you candy, and actually it turns out it's a piece of poop. So they do silly little things like that. If you watch anime or if you play video games, I can guarantee that you have encountered a kitsune in popular culture. Vulpix and Ninetales are probably the most recognizable kitsune, I would say. They have multiple tails, I believe. Well, obviously Ninetales has 9 tails, and I think Vulpix has 5 tails, 3 tails or 5 tails. When Vulpix evolves into Ninetales, it acquires more tails, it becomes more powerful, and another idea of the kitsune that Vulpix and Ninetales emulate is that a kitsune can control fire to a certain extent, and Vulpix and Ninetales are both fire Pokemon. And also, when a kitsune acquires its last tail, its 9th tail, it was believed that it would turn a golden color or white, and Ninetales is like this golden white color, so it follows a lot of the ideas of the kitsune. Kitten If you play Legend of Zelda, you might have come across Kitsune, who is a many-tailed fox. He helps you out. He's also kind of a trickster. And of course, Naruto, another kind of like a Kitsune. He has a fox spirit inside of him who is a source of power to him. The list goes on and on and on. Those are just a couple of big examples of Kitsune in popular culture. If you've ever seen pictures of Kitsune, you might notice kind of like an onion-shaped white ball that floats next to them. This is called a Hoshinotama, or star ball, and some stories say that they are the Kitsune's soul, that he or she carries in its tails or in its mouth. And if a person obtains a Kitsune's Hoshinotama, you might be able to force the Kitsune into doing something for you. So, acquiring something for you, telling you where something is, guiding you somewhere. If the Kitsune is separated from its Hoshinotama for too long, it will die. So make sure if you take it, you give it back. I've also heard that if you pull on a Kitsune's tail, it's bad luck. So I think that maybe has to go with the thought that the Hoshinotama is inside the tails. So if you accidentally grab one of the tails instead of the Hoshinotama, you'll actually be cursed instead of getting like a wish granted or something. So anyway, that was just an overview of Kitsune. Again, I think this is probably one of the biggest recurring mythical creatures in Japanese culture. It's also really cool. Again, it's just a normal fox, but the older it gets, the more powers it acquires. That's also a huge theme in Japanese mythology. I'm going to be drawing this kind of pin-up geisha woman who has the Kitsune jumping out of her fingernails. And then later on I'll be tracing this on Illustrator and making it into a coloring book, so watch out for that also. And thank you for joining me today. Enjoy!